Presentation was held at the Human-Computer Interaction Conference organized virtually in July of 2021. It was meant to be in Washington, D.C., United States. However, it was online. It was done online, and it was an online conference due to the spread of COVID-19. The topic of this presentation is technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, in other words, TPACK, experience in higher education from the perspectives of teachers in online academic writing classes. The authors of this paper are Ajrina Hysaj and Doaa, Hamam. Ajrina Hysaj is a master degree holder and is continuing her PhD with the University of Wollongong in Wollongong, Australia. And she is currently teaching English language at the University of Wollongong in Dubai. Doaa has a PhD in education from the British University in Dubai and is currently a lecturer at the Higher Colleges of Technology in the United Arab Emirates. Now, this study is about the perceptions of university teachers and the extent of challenges that they had using TPACK framework in higher education. With the purpose of meeting the goals of teaching and learning in online academic writing classes. For this study, we created a survey of 23 items which were given to the teachers. These items were divided on the content base, pedagogical base, and technology base. And the purpose was to understand the impact of the uses of TPACK in academic writing skills in the online platform. Now, academic writing is crucially connected with the successful completion of university studies because most of the tasks in university studies are of written nature. So there is always a component of writing. Hence, it is very important to utilize these sets of tools that the online platform provides for the benefit of the students and the education as a whole. Now, the aim of the study was to understand the utilization of TPACK framework on the development of academic writing. The appropriate utilization of the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, in other words, TPACK, it's crucial in the process of adaptation to the online platform. In other words, it is absolutely crucial for us as instructors, as curriculum designers, as leaders, to consider the appropriate utilization of technology while considering the pedagogical implications of teaching and the pedagogical implications of understanding the matter being taught. If obviously the matter being taught is understood by the students and the teachers alike, then there are high chances that students would remember and our online learning will be effective. So generally, to understand the interaction between the content knowledge, the technology knowledge, and the pedagogical knowledge, it's important to consider them all as equally important. Only then we will be able to try to understand how they correlate with each other. So, the first thing that we did, obviously, was to conduct literature review, and we started with awareness of the mastery of the TPACK framework from academic writing skills teachers. From the research, we realized that instructors who were able to understand the content being taught had enough space in their material preparation to consider the usage of technology, and that created inclusiveness and active engagement in their classrooms. Moreover, the understanding of the awareness of the benefits of the technology or technological advances allowed instructors to consider this as a very crucial tool for successful online learning experience. So, what is TPACK framework? Well, TPACK framework, according to the empirical and theoretical studies conducted in higher education, is focused on understanding the importance of content knowledge, pedagogical approaches, and effectiveness of technology integration. So obviously it's a combination of the content understanding of the and the usage of technology and pedagogical approaches during the online classes. Now, interestingly, there is not much done with regards to the higher education and the utilization of TPACK. Nevertheless, there is a lot done for the utilization of TPACK in the other education systems up to the secondary education, so primary and the secondary education systems. So, academic writing in the online platform obviously was the focus of our study, and it goes without saying that it's very crucial. Academic writing is very crucial and is inseparable part of almost every assignment, really, because students' major assignments would always require some parts or some components of academic writing. So it is crucial to be understood. Now, with the shift to the online platform, obviously there were quite a few things that teachers had to adopt to improve the matter of the delivery, to improve the content to suit the delivery matter, and obviously aiming to the creation of engaging and exciting classes for all students. According to Farika and Al-Firdaus, students were actually excited because of appropriate utilization of a TPACK framework in writing classes. So that gives an indication that if the TPACK framework is utilized appropriately, then there is a high chance that students will be excited. And obviously, they would be excited because the TPACK framework considers all the aspects of teaching. It's just that it is in the online platform with a technology component, but it is basically the core of teaching. It has to do with teaching, utilization of appropriate pedagogical approaches, understanding of the matter being taught, and usage of appropriate tools to teach that matter. Another very interesting study looked into the online teaching and tried to tackle the phenomena of fragment teaching, which unfortunately could happen in the online platform, especially when everybody is in a rush trying to prepare the material. Then there are high chances that the curriculum alignment will not necessarily be taken into consideration, and there may be instances of fragmented teaching. Obviously, this is translated as poor quality teaching, and it could as well be a poor quality material. Improvements of these and enhancement of the combination of the pedagogical, technological, and content-based knowledge has high chances of improving students' emotional states and of course has an impact on their learning behavior and the increased levels of motivation. So for this study we used a quantitative method, and that was comprised of one survey which has had questions about technology, content-based, and obviously the pedagogical approaches in the online platform. The survey had 23 Likert scale questions, and they were divided into content, pedagogical implication, and technology use. We chose very carefully the teachers that were involved into this research. We had four specific ways of differentiating them. So they had to be EAP teachers or TESOL, academic writing teachers, holders of a master or a PhD degree, experience in teaching, so they had to have experience in teaching online and in teaching with technology. So the sample was a purposive sampling of 43 teachers who fulfilled the above mentioned criteria. Results were overwhelmingly positive. Majority of teachers were very comfortable with online teaching and the implementation of TPACK framework. So, moreover, interestingly, they did not face a lot of technological or internet-related issues, the most important thing is that they were professionally and personally satisfied with the TPACK, the implementation of TPACK framework in their academic writing skills. So, in more details, the results of the teacher survey showed that the majority of teachers, an overwhelming 90% of them, were very comfortable with TPACK framework and they were able to utilize appropriate pedagogical strategies. 60% of them explained and revealed that they were very much self-aware of the encouraging pedagogical prospects of teaching academic writing using TPACK framework, which automatically considers the pedagogical implications of its usage. Very, very interestingly, around 50% of teachers acknowledge the positive aspects of providing scaffolding to their students for creation of academic writing tasks as a practice and as assessment. For discussion, this study revealed that utilization of TPACK framework for university teachers was not as overwhelmingly negative as previously thought. Teachers were on the other side, teachers were very much able to correct the most common errors of their students, and they were able to utilize the audio and video formative feedback besides the written feedback. So it proved to be very much possible to utilize the technological tools for provision of pedagogical support to the students. They as well were able, teachers were able to bear in mind the students' learning styles when providing formative feedback. So interestingly, the teachers themselves noticed an improvement of their individual pedagogical strategies while teaching online, which is something fascinating really, because we have to bear in mind that we are talking about forced teaching online experience, and due to COVID-19 pandemic. So it's interesting to think, it's very, very interesting to think that teachers were able to even reflect on their own individual pedagogical strategies. However, we have to be a little bit cautious with the results of their data, because the data was collected during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it may have, maybe not, but it may have underestimated the stress level that teachers went through trying to implement these changes. So the utilization of TPACK proved to be very successful. Nevertheless, another study should consider the possible effect of something so major like COVID-19 pandemic into the reality behind the choices that teachers made when they completed the survey, and the choices that they had to make, they were forced to make during the implementation of the implementation of online learning due to the outbreak of COVID-19. So, to conclude, it's very, very important to consider internal factors like self-reflection and self-esteem among teachers besides the utilization of TPACK framework. And another thing that was very much seen in this study is the necessity to provide technical support rather to teachers during lessons and exam times. This would remove that undue stress which could be present during teaching or during examination, and it will allow teachers to focus on the matter being taught or on the matter being examined and their own students. Another very interesting thing which came out of the study is that although the TPACK framework addresses issues that are related to teachers, nevertheless, it should always be connected to the students' online presence, their academic performance, and subsequently academic satisfaction, considering the fact that students are the most important stakeholder in the teaching and learning process. And that brings me to the end of our presentation. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation. This is the list of the references that were used for this presentation. And I wish you all a very happy day. Goodbye.